would love to create a village. I have ideas. I had a camp, Hamlet 33, and it was the first time that I had been homeless with a camp, but before I'd only lived, out of a backpack, and the difference that it made to my mental health was just extraordinary, and it gave me a project, and it allowed me to have a job and to work on advocacy and do outreach, and I put in a community garden, and I built a greenhouse to give back to the neighborhood, and the people that were camping with me were doing a lot better, and I was doing a lot better. Everybody was a lot happier when we were at that camp, and if I could start a village, then I would have a home, and I really want to have a home.
So years ago, I set out to try to build a village. I mean, I even went across the country, and then I ended up back here in Portland. And I think the reason for villages is because, especially for people who are what we call service resistant, I'm trying to create I'm trying to take care of myself. I don't want to be a burden to the system. And so, a self-governed village was more of what I was thinking.
Because there is some ignorance that's gone on probably since the Great Depression in the 30s, and that's that people like us are just looking for handouts. We're bums. We're back in the day they were alcoholics or they were drug. Whatever the case, we prove them wrong by doing this, and this has been a really of all our 10 years out here homeless, we fell into it. This has probably been the best arrangement so far.
Well, it allows a person to come back into life. I mean, we have a kind of a saying, when people first get here, they kind of fall apart a little bit, and you have the support of the other villagers to help you through that process. Uh, you know, when you come out of long-term homelessness to village or being inside, it's like being hit by a Mack truck. And if you're in an apartment, you're alone. You're just, there's really no structure there. And here, people are coming and they're bringing you food, or they're, making sure that making sure that you have water, or if anything else that you need.
I think Dignity Village is really aptly named because I think what I've observed from villagers is just how much being together and being asked about their experience reminds them that they are absolutely worthy of dignity. I've seen people really just return to themselves, return to a belonging that they have to themselves and to each other and to the land.
We worked with the city on Right to Dream too. And I think that the best thing that we learned from that was putting us all in a room to talk and to learn from each other was important. Engaging that community made it possible for us to go to the businesses when this did go into place and and help get support for Right too, whether that be helping to build out the tiny homes or building out showers or services. Um, and so just that sort of enabling the community to do its thing. I think um, in the work that I've done with community, uh, local government should find people trying to do good work in their community and uh, ask them, how can we help you? How can we help you be successful?
I do believe that most neighborhoods would find a spot for micro village. And with the 94 neighborhoods that exist in the city of Portland, even if we had micro village, which is up to 10 people in a neighborhood, would be very helpful if we could get a lot of the neighborhoods, most of the neighborhoods, to do that.
I think a community of microvillages is important because
the people who live on the street are not a monolith. They have different identities, they have different needs, they have different pieces of identity that are important to them, and they need and deserve, just like everyone else, to have a variety of options to choose from for her where they want to live. A network of microvillages to support the creation of other microvillages is incredibly useful because there are those who have the experience, and so they can guide and direct and support people who are starting other microvillages. Because again, these villages, really speak to a certain need. Like ours speaks to the need for hospice. They're
when planning happens around microvillages for the region, bring the people who've lived, have experience in microvillages, and some of the providers to the table, as it were, to help with the planning and decision making, because it is such an important option.
Not be able to start from ground zero. I mean, that's huge if they can start already with a plan in place, a set of plans, and that just is the quicker we can get these things up and going, and the easier it is on those folks, less, in a better use of resources, honestly, because if everybody's having to restart, that's not a very efficient way of using government funds.
Villages are a community of like-minded people. So when you're around people that mirror you, that makes you feel empowered, and it makes you feel like a person, and it makes you feel valued and seen and valuable. And you can put into the community and see it grow, which makes you grow. And so the more micro villages, the more healing, the more growth, the more people will become whole, and the more society will be whole.